Jill Mays is currently Director of the Office of Behavioral Health Prevention and Federal Grants at the Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities, where she provides oversight to substance abuse and suicide prevention, mental health promotion, and cultural and linguistic competency technical assistance.
Hi, everyone. This is Jill Mays, the Director of the Office of Behavioral Health Prevention and Federal Grants at DBHDD. I hope that everyone has had an awesome day here at the Capitol, even though we're virtual. Hope that everyone learned a lot. Hope that you feel great about celebrating everything that we've accomplished together in terms of substance abuse prevention across the state of Georgia. And I hope that you had a very productive time meeting with your legislators, because that's what it's all about. It's about advocating for change for Georgians. And we at DBHDD appreciate all that you all do each and every day that saves lives. I want to say thank you to Commissioner Fitzgerald, to Attorney General Carr, and to Governor Kemp for joining us today. It's really important to know that our voices are being heard by people who can really make a difference. So I'm sitting out here, I'm enjoying virtual day outside in my yard, and there's a little bit of a breeze blowing. And so that made me think back to our substance abuse prevention conference last week, and our theme was trending prevention. And I left some reflections at the end of that about the wind. And as I was sitting here enjoying the breeze, I was thinking about wind. And what is wind? I want to tell you a little bit about wind. Wind is the flow, and I got all this from Wikipedia, source for all kinds of great information. But from Wikipedia, it says that wind is the flow of gases, but on a really large scale. So like I could blow like this, and I don't know if we call that wind, but wind is that little puff of air on a really grand scale. So on the surface of the earth, wind is the bulk of movement of air. And winds are classified by their spatial scale, that's how far they reach, their speed, and the type of forces that cause them in the regions where they occur, and then the effect of the wind. Winds have lots of aspects about them. The velocity of the wind, that's the wind speed. The density of the wind, that's the density of the gas, like how much you can feel the wind. The energy content, that's called the wind energy. And the wind is so powerful that it's also, it can be considered a means of transportation. If you think about grass seeds, I think, we're about to do some grass seed planting in our yard, and birds are moved along by the velocity of the wind. The seeds are spread across, the land by the wind. And the wind can even travel thousands of miles. You think about birds when they're migrating from one area of the country to another, they're carried by the wind thousands of miles. And this concept of wind in human mythology has been studied, and wind has influenced events in our history, and wind has expanded the range of our transportation. Wind has played a part in warfare, and wind has provided power sources for mechanical work, for electricity, and even for recreation. If you're one who likes water sports, wind is a big part of moving you along on your jet ski, and the kind of the forces that keep you up. Wind powers the voyages of sailing ships and cruise ships across the Earth's ocean. If you think about hot air balloons use the wind to take short trips, and also longer flights across the country. And the wind increases the lift of the hot air balloons, and it reduces fuel consumption. So the wind kind of helps the hot air balloon along with the fuel. Then there's areas that are called wind shear. And wind shear is caused by different weather phenomena, but wind shear is something that can be really dangerous to aircraft. If you're flying on a plane, you may have experienced wind shear when the plane kind of dropped, and maybe your heart dropped at the same time. So wind can be very dangerous, but wind can also be used to form beautiful land shapes when it blows, like the layers of the dirt in different places. Um, Wind can be, very, very powerful in positive and beautiful and creative ways, and wind can be very dangerous at the same time. There's something called the Enhanced Fujita Scale, the EF scale, and that scale rates the strength of tornadoes, which are huge amounts of wind in across countries. And what the Fujita scale does is it measures the damage caused by wind, and from the amount of damage, they can estimate the wind speed. And the Fujita scale goes all the way from EF0, which is minor damage, to EF5, which is incredible damage. So, again, the wind has the potential to cause both great damage and great change. And I thought that was a really good way to think about our work in terms of substance abuse prevention, is that wind can cause great change in areas where we want positive change, but wind can also cause great damage in things that we want eliminated or things that we want blown down. One of my favorite quotes is great things are not accomplished by those who yield to trends and fads and popular opinion. That's a quote by American novelist Jack Kerouac, who ironically, in 1969, at the age of 47, died from an abdominal hemorrhage caused by a lifetime of heavy drinking. But that quote says a lot. And if you think about what's going on in our state right now, there's a great deal of focus on the prevention field as a result of the pandemic. The nation is looking to us to help flatten the curve on the trend that we're seeing of rising drug overdoses and rising suicide. And I just want to remind everybody that we have the knowledge, the skills, and the passion to do just that. We can knock down these trends that we're seeing because we can be a dangerous force against those things that are negative in our communities. Now, while we have to maintain our focus on data-driven planning and evidence-based practices, remember that every evidence-based practice that we use today started as a spark in somebody's mind yesterday. Everything that we see now wasn't always, it was somebody who was determined to solve a problem, somebody who was determined to do something better, who used their creativity to come up with something that today we see as fabulous and very effective and very efficient. But there's more work that we can do, more things yet to be discovered. So I encourage you to move beyond what's trending, move beyond what's popular right now. Tap into the unique soul of your community and find new and even more successful ways of helping our fellow citizens who we care about. Don't fall into the trap of doing the same things the same way because that's what everybody else is doing. Encourage your legislators. We don't have to do the same thing that we've always done. Georgia has always been a thought leader in the behavioral health and the prevention field. And we need to continue to be that by looking at problems and saying, there's a better way to do this. And we've got the force right here in Georgia to do that. So I want to close with just saying to you all, be a trendsetter. Don't just be pushed along by the winds of change. You be the wind. And if we all are the wind, it's not just a little puff of air that comes from me. If we put all of our collective winds together, we can affect some incredible, incredible change in Georgia. Thank you.